So good morning, everyone. A hearty welcome from a nice, cool Durban today. It's been raining last night, so it's nice and cool and fresh outside. Everything is wet and the plants are growing again. So that's awesome. And let's just do a quick check-in to see how everybody's doing. And we'll start with Barbara.
Yeah, it's been a good week, actually. I've been reading for the third time Deepak Chopra's The Book of Secrets. And it's such a brilliant book. And it's got so many reminders in it about how we should be. And yeah, so it's sort of made me feel in the right place this week.
Good.
So yeah, been a good week.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. And Nikki, how was your week, please?
Not bad. Pretty quiet for most of the week, and then Friday all hell breaks loose with work, and so no public holiday for Nikki on Monday. I will be working. These accountants drive me crazy, but no, energetically, spiritually, it's been a nice week actually. Yeah,
good. And you were telling me that you were reading a book.
I'm reading a book called The Soul of Money. I can't remember the author's name, and my phone's off, so I can't check. But it's really a lovely book about the energy of money, the natural flow of money, and it's a beautiful book. If money is at all an issue in your life, and what's interesting is she talks a lot about people who have a lot of money and how deprived they are spiritually, emotionally, So she's not only talking about poor people who don't have money. The energy that surrounds money is very, very interesting. It's worth a read.
Yeah, it's also important to allow money to flow to you.
Yes.
And not block it. Yeah.
And that's what she says. And she says, like stagnant water or I can't remember the other analogies she uses, but it must always flow for it to be healthy. It shouldn't be hoarded and kept. And very interesting book. Lovely book.
Yeah. The similar concept I realized this week. It's like I did a couple of business expenses, got some tools for my online work. And first, I just did it without even thinking. It's like, I need this. My business needs this. It will be supported. And as I paid it, just took a deep breath in, and then suddenly I had a client booking, and then a business started rolling in, and I thought, you know what? You have to. Sometimes it takes you to put money into your business for money to come back. And then the flow is a lot more than what I've paid for. So then I think, thank you, Spirit, for supporting that. So sometimes it is, and still this week, I mean, I would go through the garden and I think, oh, okay, so that I've given up has come back to me amplified. There's so much that is, I want to say, returning with better energies, and I can realize that all the old energies that I needed to let go, so much more is replaced with new and with different and with supportive, and so it's I also believe in that flow. I can see where it's hoarding, and it's me, myself, and I have to protect and preserve this last little bit, and you're actually causing the block of the flow of money to you. So from you and to you. If it blocked one way, it's blocked for both ways.
Yeah.
It's not just in our mind it makes sense. No, let me just hold on to my last few years.
Don't let go.
Then you're telling the universe, I've only got so much.
That's exactly what she says in this book. Yeah. We have this mentality of, there's only so much to go around, and that's just the way it is. And how to break those mental blocks it's hard.
And there's actually more than enough to go around.
Exactly. The entire concept of this book is there's ample, more than that. The fact that there are people starving in the world, it makes no sense, because there is more than enough.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how for each week I we're going through our chakras, because it's to work with the energy of that chakra. And our sacral chakra is one where money also sits. So lack of financial support shows up as low back pain. So, and it's our creative efforts, or how we apply ourselves creatively, doesn't necessarily mean art or anything specific like that, yes. But anything that you do, it's like you have to allow the creative juices to flow through you. Creative ways of earning money, creative ways of applying yourself, creative ways of putting yourself out there. And so it is this creator energy in us that we want to unlock and unleash, like the Kundalini energy is allowing it to flow through us. Don't let the sacral chakra and the issues there, main issue there is guilt. Guilt for either, we've got so much guilt that we carry around.
Yeah, do we need to
I'm not
take far too much time.
Not gonna give them a voice today, but maybe. But it's interesting how, and we'll look at. So last week we worked with the base chakra and the root and the foundation, and today, even in the meditation, we're going to be working with the Earth Star chakra. But it's now to root our creative ideas through the Earth Star chakra and then give it expression. So each one, it's chakras don't operate individually. Yeah. They operate in unison, and we need to make sure that that one doesn't create a bottleneck. So just a free flow of energy of that, yeah.
Yeah, so isn't it strange how appropriate this book is being? You know, the other thing it brings to mind the book and today's whole energy thing we've got going is how we don't see what we do have. And, you know, I think you can say that in words, I have a roof over my head and water in my taps. But she talks about going to a village in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is one of the poorest countries in the world. They have nothing. The ground has been depleted to barren sand because of the forest deforestation and all that. And how she sat and spoke to these people and said, but look at what you do have. What are your talents? And they are poets. They were amazing poets for some reason. All their different strengths and talents. And suddenly these people kind of sat up. We're not beggars. We don't have to beg for money to survive. We actually do have all these gifts and talents, and they've now, 10 years later, whatever it was, she went back and visited, and they've completely altered the landscape as well as their lives. It's
sure. Wow, that's amazing.
It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful story, that flow, and how important money is in creating a negative energy within you, as they considered the beggars of the world. No, we don't want to be that. That's not how we want to be. We want to be able to stand up on our own 2 feet. And money is what the world kind of uses as a power over some.
Yeah.
And when you don't give it that value, you suddenly see the value in yourself. Very, very interesting.
Is your speaker quite close
to this? It's just amazing.
Yeah. Why can you not hear us?
No, I can hear very well. I can hear Big Ben very loudly.
The speaker is close because sometimes
keep it down. Keep busy now.
So I got it now right in front of us. Is it better than last week?
Much better. I've got to say, this was a brilliant investment.
I'm glad to use it. And as my next best friend, because it's important for me that you can hear.
And me.
Yeah. Okay, so because we're doing crystal attunements for the next 7 weeks, we use the crystal oracle deck for messages as well. Because everything inside of us, we're also becoming crystalline in nature. So it's for us to understand the beautiful energies that the crystals bring. So I've asked Nikki to draw a card and for myself to draw a card.
Did you do a check-in?
Yeah. A check-in for me. I have my son coming next week, from next week Saturday, and he'll be living with me. So I've organized with the landlord, he's aware of it, all good. He's made an extra remote. So I've been moving things around and making space for him and preparing for it. And I'm actually now at the stage where I'm excited about it, counting off the sleeps, because now I know how it's going to function. And it's, for me, one thing that I realize is what excites me, if I want to say things fall into place. I'm very much about structure and organization. It won't always look like it, but it's like I need things to be functional, and I need to have a process, and I need things to work. And as soon as they work, it feels like, because the one cog is like a watch with lots of is it cogs?
Yes.
Yeah. As soon as one cog works, it feels like it's spinning the next cog, which spins the next cog. So I get so excited with the movement of that one cog. It's like it's not into place, and then it hooks and it creates another thing. So I've been looking at, I'm going to say, the wheels turning and motion being created, and how the one thing affects the other thing, affects the other thing, and it gives me the outcome that I want. So I've been sort of in awe, and I can realize how I need it. Now, I usually don't like washing dishes. Dishes is not on my high value priority list.
No.
But I realized that my previous kitchen was too small for me to stand there for too long. It was like I couldn't energetically stand there and do that. Now that my kitchen has got some space, I wash dishes with ease, because there's a zinc to wash it in, there's a zinc to rinse it off at, and then I can put it down. But I realized that I energetically needed the space for the system to work. The previous place, my system was zonked because it was too small and it's too stifled. And I realized with all kinds of little things, it's like as I move things, I realized, oh, the energy actually works better. And this week, even in the garden, I would look, okay, so there's an empty spot. Which plant would like to be in that empty spot? And I've been moving things around. But as I move things around, I can feel the energy starts to move, and there's flow again and things. So I've worked a lot more this week with energy. So in the guided meditation that I did to create more business, then I listened to it about 3 times, and then I thought, okay, I know it's done. Sort of the portal, the lighthouse has been created, and it's just, so now I just instruct lighthouse on for the people, and it's an energetically thing. It's like, and then suddenly I would get something. Oh, I've seen your post on Facebook. My son needs a light for activation. When can he come? And I thought, that's working. Because it's so I've been working with energy a lot, and it's so nice that in my downtime I can spend some time in my garden. I am loving my garden. It's like it's especially looking out for new growth and watering it and seeing it. It's like even the plants that I had in pots, I've now put them in the soil because it feels like I can root and I can ground. So yeah, I'm just loving every experience that I have here. So I've been in a flowing energy, appreciative energy, a grateful energy, and I could see, and even putting money in the business and seeing it start coming back, that excites me. So so I found myself want to say, touching on excitement a lot more, where for months and months and months, excitement was not on my radar. It was just, that exciting feeling was just not coming. I couldn't fabricate it. I couldn't even, they say sometimes fake it till you make it. Yeah, I couldn't even fake it.
You can't fake it.
Yeah, it's out of them. So I've been loving sort of, I want to say, the touching on excitement. It's like it has come and then gone and then come and gone. But I know it's work. It's like as the wheels starts turning, more of that is coming. And I realize the things that actually excite me and gives me joy, and it's just to see things, just to be the observer of things and how it flows, and how even my sessions and communicating with spirit. It's a lot more. What do I say? Yeah, I don't know what words to use, but it's subtler and more energetically than, I'm going to say 3D prayingly. I don't know how to
Yeah,
word
like
it.
mechanically, more energetically than mechanically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been like, yeah. So that has been my week, and from an observer point and a participator. So I would just be, okay, so what does the energy of today call for? And then how can I make it easier? It's like the meditation of last week reminded me, it's like we can make it difficult or we can make it easier. So it's like I applied it to myself and said, okay, so where can I make it more easier? How can I more easily manifest? How can I more easily work with it? And it's just for us to do what we need to do, and we know what we need to do, but not from old energy, but from our new energy. And it feels like, although I'm going to say recreating of what I had, I do it now with different energy. I bring different energy to it, so the results will be different. And that's what we need to remind ourselves. It's like the energy that you put in is the energy that you're going to get out. And if you just do it, I must just do this, and it's mundane.
Yeah, rather wait until you're able to shift that energy. Yes. It's not going to serve you to do it then.
Yeah, it's also about, I think, even if things are mundane, taking care and doing it well, even if it's just washing the dishes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or cleaning the kitchen. It's because if you do it well and you put some effort and care into it, already that the energy of that mundane chore, I think, is improving.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like I'm loving cooking for myself now again, because I've got room to cook in. I've got a room to chop things up. And it's like I do everything with care and diligence and love, and the whole process I'm loving. But it's and usually it's like I would prefer one pot meals, because I like to one pot. But now I make everything, and I've stuff in the oven, and I've got stuff on the stove, and I make myself the most delicious meals because I can, and I don't mind washing the dishes because I've got room to wash the dishes. And
there's a satisfaction in that. It's seeing it through. Putting the things away, sitting down satisfied.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful.
It's like in the previous place, I didn't have a proper oven, so I could never make things in the oven. Now I can, and I purposely use it because I can, because I know how it feels to be without it. So yeah.
Can I just say something before we start?
Yes.
I just think everything is flowing for Sean as well. You know, the fact that he's coming back to Durban, and you suddenly got accommodation for him where he can be here.
True.
I think everything is going to turn around for him in this whole process.
Hope so.
Yeah. It feels like it will be a very nurturing environment for him to get in touch with himself, and grow. And that's all that matters. That's what I want. Just to give him the love and support, and for him to find his way back to him, and be all that he can be or wants to be.
Yeah, he couldn't do that in Joburg, I don't think, in that environment.
No. And we all have different environments. That I mean, I can remember in 2008 when we moved down. Nadine was very keen, but Sean wasn't so keen. So he purposely didn't want to make friends because he wanted to prove to me that I made the wrong decision. Didn't want to do this, so he was slower on the uptake of integrating and whatever. And I can remember both of the children was placed in a mixed ability class because I didn't know what the kids' ability was because I never. And he came out top of his class, and he just flourished and grew. And it's like going back to Joburg, it felt like it dipped. That which, and he's so excited in coming down. And I never thought he would be, but he is. And I'm glad that I'm also excited that and everything just feels like it's flowing and working. So, and it's to trust the process.
Yeah.
Because logically things doesn't always make sense, and you wonder how or what. But just trusting the process, and that everyone's path is shown.
And also you got wheels.
Yes. I can be chauffeured.
That's huge. That's a huge
to the shops, and or I can say I go, I'm seeing a client now, go get this or do this, or yes, it would be nice. Yeah, it is. That's cool. Okay, so the card that I drew this morning is Aquamarine. And it's talking about the keywords for Aquamarine is moderation, energy, tolerance, gentleness, feminine, and goddess. Whether male or female, you can overcome a current conflict by reflecting upon and applying moderation, tolerance, gentleness, and compassion. These qualities are not a weakness, rather, they are strengths. What is called for at present is greater compassion and tolerance coupled with a little patience and gentleness. Is it possible to resolve the things in an amicable way to create a positive outcome for all concerned? As you look back on this current episode, you will realize a valuable lesson. Compassion and tolerance is a sign of maturity and strength of character. They are qualities that infuse all with love and light. So it's interesting that this card comes up because I had a dream this week about the opposite energies of this card. And the last place not the last place that I stayed in, Benoni, I had opposite feelings, and a lot of that came up in my dreams, and it's still there. So I need to shift that energy, shift my perceptions, shift my feelings, shift that which has been difficult, because sometimes you first have to put some distance towards it and then just sit in it for a while and sort of then see it from a higher vantage point to see how you can change it, because we tend to believe what we believe, and we believe when we justified in what we believe, but it's not always. And we make certain stories, and that's another thing that this theme about what story do you tell yourself about that is so important to realize and change. And sometimes others have to be mirrors for you to see. Okay, so maybe how can I be more compassionate towards the situation and change the energy of that, because nobody likes actually disharmony, or even if it's silent conflict doesn't necessarily have to be verbalized, but they can be silent conflict too.
It's just so distracting.
Yes. And then that creates a block. It is a block, because I asked, so how does our cards relate to the theme of creativity? And it's so I will work definitely with the energy of aquamarine also today.
Right, so I picked kyanite, intuition, ideas, dreams. Pay attention to your intuition and to your dreams over the coming days, for you are being guided towards deeper spiritual understanding and insight. Through this process, much of which occurs on a subconscious level or in your dream state, a rather ingenious idea will surface that will radically change your views on life, particularly your career. I'm liking this card. Kyanite will help you ground this idea as you discover ways of practically applying your idea in your everyday life and work. However, do not try to force the process. The idea will surface when you least expect it. Simply relax and allow yourself to be open to new possibilities and insights. Know that they already exist within you in an abstract spiritual form. Sure. You have to think about on that card. Ingenious ideas will surface that will radically change your views on life. I can understand how that could happen. I just wish I knew which direction it was coming from so I could be ready.
You don't have to know from which direction.
And that's what it says. Don't force it.
Yes.
You know, just let it come to you in its own way and in its own time.
So for me, what the card says is wherever you've been blocking, ideas don't come to me, or I don't know, it's all the I don't knows, or I don't know how, or I don't know this, or I can't, or spirit doesn't talk to me, or any stories that you tell yourself that's false beliefs. So it's like, can that, because you are so blessed, you are so connected, you are so creative. It will come to you, but now it's to see it through, because ideas come to you.
They do,
but you squash them.
Yeah, they do.
Because you overthink them or think, oh, no.
Or I try to force them into existence, and that just kills both the passion for it and the actual idea altogether.
So we're talking about energy and flow, so allow it room to flow into your life and for you to be that fertile soil where it can just blossom and grow what it needs to be.
Beautiful card, I love it.
It is very nice. Okay, so Nikki is going to read for us today. We're still busy with a cry on the end of times. So yeah, and we're talking about God, the source energy, and the relationship to us, and what we can do with this. So,
right. So it says the love connection. Love is power. Your word is inarticulate and poor for this concept. Other earth languages at least have many kinds of words for this energy. Love is not a word or just a feeling. It is a power source. It is energy. You can call on it, turn it off and on, Store it up, send it out, and focus it for many uses. It is always available and will never fail you. It is the promise of the universe. It is the common thread that runs things. It is time you started to see this, and I mean in the universal sense that it really is your time. You're at last being given permission to use and understand this power source, and you have earned it. You may want to use the word God source instead of love to give you an understanding of the meaning of the power. We are collective, but the power source is singular. This means that we all share a common oneness that is the power. This is similar to electricity as you are familiar with it. Notice that the common element in your circuits is always the ground. No matter what the purpose of the circuit or the strength of the circuit, it always has one return or commonality, a oneness within a multifaceted system. The love God source is the power you receive when you call upon God for anything. Any entity calling specifically, verbally, or otherwise for the power of God receives this love God source. It is literal and will respond appropriately. Appropriately means that it will respond within the universal correctness of the call. Enlightened, balanced individuals are especially good at calling up and focusing the love God source. They have always been as clear pathways through an otherwise murky and resistant veil. Most of these individuals have been religious leaders through the ages who used love as their basis for life. Their honest love for the universe and others around them, and their tolerance for others' process and karma was the key to their balance. Actual knowledge of the way things work was, and still is, unimportant. Holy men in India, China, Syria, Israel, or anywhere else have the same connection to the power source as a Christian evangelist in a meeting in Middle America. Why do I tell you this? So you will understand that the source is singular and is yours as never before. With my realignment, your spiritual side can soar. You will receive a feeling of perfect alignment, of finally coming home. This is your entity actually seeing itself for the first time for what it is, a piece of God. A piece with a name known by all that can never be destroyed and can never be added to or subtracted from. Can you imagine what you can do now? Transmutation. You must call upon this love God source to heal and balance the planet. There will be guaranteed results, which is underlined, when you do this. You must gather with others of like balance to focus your energies for this. Make this partly meditation for the purpose of receiving instructions, and then balance it with prayer to create the needed energy. Do not waste time setting up institutions with structures, memberships, and business. Keep the organization to a minimum and stress the work. This is critical. Teachers, pay special attention to those coming into balance for the first time. There will be many due to my work. Teach the new ones about who they are and how they can have peace of mind and how they can love themselves through the recognition of the entity they really are. Psychological balance will result with spiritual enlightenment. Make a place in your teachings for simplicity. Remember that who you are now is a result of many years of gradual discernment, and that the new ones cannot absorb this all at once. They will come because of the love they feel, drawn to the new consciousness. Always remember that your primary efforts are to teach balance through love. It is not necessary to teach them the universal workings of things as you know them. Let them live in peace without forcing anything on them. They will have enough balance to continue. Some will remain with you for further training so they can join the transmutation efforts. For the enlightened, give the message of the new alignment and what it means, including all the messages contained here. Teach tolerance of the human process. This alone will create more transmutation of negative to positive than almost anything you can do. Tolerance is a result of love balance. Use the tolerance yourself to keep clear. Celebrate those other teachers who also are receiving information, and do not do not ever feel that you are less than any other. New information will occur simultaneous to many and is never proprietary. It's got in a box here, important. Teachers, your tools will not be accurate for long. Those of you involved in using any predetermined systems of universal rules and laws must adjust your charts. I will give you more information on this in healing. Heal the sick. You are not to be denied this process, and it has been available to you for years. Many of you are doing this now, but none of you are claiming the love God source with the results that other religious leaders have. Show the power. It's for all. Heal the sick by balancing the organs. The love God source will respond if appropriate. I have already given my partner more information on how this healing process works, but here are the basics. The best method is one-on-one. Your spiritual entity must communicate directly on a spiritual level with one other entity. There will be instant, logical communication from the clear, balanced one to the physically unbalanced one about the permission to move beyond karma and use the action window available. If appropriate, the unbalanced one will receive physical balance and will be healed. It's that simple. Remember that everything is in its place. Some will come to you for healing because it really is their moment for it. They are there by design to receive it. It is your responsibility to take your power to help fulfill their purpose. It is all interrelated. Others will come who are not ready yet. They have more work to do, and that might include remaining sick. It is not for you to know this. Take responsibility only for the healing process. Do not take responsibility for what appears to be a failed healing. This is up to God, not you. Be aware, do not limit the healing you ask for. The love source has no limitation. It is possible to create matter where none was before, to reconnect biological pathways, or to simply balance the system for better health. Your miracles are logical applications of the love God source. They are appropriate and are scientific. When you learn about transmutation of matter, you will know what I mean. Your magic today will be the commonplace of tomorrow. Use the power. Experience the gift. On a personal level, learn to feel or experience the love source at any time you wish. This is your new white. It will create the peace you will need to walk through what is to come. From your awakening in the morning to your retirement at night, you can have this with you at all times. Imagine what this can mean for you. The more time you spend experiencing this, the easier it will be for you to be a clear channel for our information, for your teaching and prayer and healing. Your word love is now appropriate to the context of the feeling. The love of God is not a new feeling to humans. It is exemplified in the scriptures on the 13th chapter of the first book of the Corinthians. It is the feeling of a loving parent who takes care of all your needs. It is the feelings of a loving friend or mate who love you unconditionally. It has substance and is thick. It is the loving arms of God. It can actually be seen by some. It is of singular source and is unique to the universe. It belongs to us all and is our personal source and our gift all at the same time. When you experience it, you are feeling not only the comfort and warmness of peace from the universe, but the love and admiration of the collective entities of the universe, all who know who you are and congratulate you for your perseverance to have read this message and have taken its communication seriously. I am Cryon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what are you taking away from the reading today?
There's a lot to take away from it, actually. I was just thinking while I was listening to it, imagine if we were all able to, in the same way as with money, we were all able to give and to receive and to give love, how things would work so much better. I mean, people who feel undervalued, for example, because somebody with a big ego is making them feel undervalued, for example, that ego goes away and suddenly that person feels good about himself. It's all about love, really. You know, we were talking earlier about how we tell ourselves these same old stories about how we can't do things and we're no good at anything. And that is also a lack of love, a lack of love for self, and a lack of love of having received love from somebody at a certain time, which created that that thought pattern. So yeah, I was just thinking how nice it would be if we could just all take our egos away and just love each other.
For me, it's a lot about taking personal responsibility, because we can't necessarily take responsibility for others, but we can take responsibility for us. And that's why they talk about the power of one. It always starts with you. So it's to check in. Okay, so how can I apply this knowledge with the wisdom and understanding that I have now? How can I be the one that gives unconditional love and acceptance and tolerance? I mean, they're talking about tolerance, and a lot of intolerance going around at this stage. But I'm going to say, be the starter of it, and see. And it's sort of like, as we just spoke about, the cogs in the wheel. It's like, it's one watch, it's one time, it's one energy, but each one has got a role to play. And it's like, if we're all parts of God, it's like there's a heart part, and there's a lung part, and there's an arm part, and there's a foot part, and everyone comes to play a different role, comes to play out of the energy of God.
The big ego and the subservient, they all have a role. They're all in the place they're at for a reason.
Yes.
And I suppose it's how we respond to.
Yeah. Also, we're not here to have a perfectly loving, wonderful life. We're here to learn lessons as well. So there are people who aren't going to love us very much. And we have to try to rise above that and still continue to love ourselves.
And learn from it.
And learn from it.
Their lack is, and perhaps see it in yourself.
Yeah.
It's to know that there's one power source, one love source. And when we are one with that, I want to say all the other things should just fall to the wayside.
Become unimportant.
Yes. It's not give others' opinions, others' words, others' actions, others' deeds, others' whatever, any energy or priority or authority where it actually has none. Let's bring it back to self.
Yeah, I just, it's hard to sort of take it in when you're reading. But there was one bit that sort of did stay in my head about healing people, and if they're not ready to heal, don't try to force that.
Yes.
Not only, tell them that you must heal if you just listen to them, but also that if it's not their spiritual place yet, to not try to force that. That must be very hard as a healer.
It is, because I had to learn that I'm just a catalyst. I'm just
the conduit between like there and down here kind of thing.
But with the healing still lies with the client. If they allow it, they can be healed so beautifully. If they don't allow it, it's not. And it comes down with energy, the giving and receiving of energy. What do we allow ourselves? And some people don't want to be healed. They would profess that they want to be healed, but they're not ready. They're not ready to let go. They're not ready to forgive. They're not ready to to accept it. Some are and some are not. And to the degree that they are, the healing takes effect. So, and it boils back down to taking personal responsibility. So it starts with you and it ends with you. And it's to see what cycles can come to an end. Where have we been blocking our own stuff, and what can we contribute to the world that makes a difference. Because if you know yourself and you give to others what you know you need, it's like it matters. It makes a difference, and it's to apply to self as well.
It's a good word. It matters. Every little shift in energy matters.
Yes.
It's going to matter.
Exactly. It's that example that you used of the energy of money, and if somebody gives a $5 donation, it can, with heart and soul, it can carry so much more beautiful energy. And that's why the Satsang is on a donation basis. It doesn't matter to me what. It's just what it has been given with. That is how it's received, and that is what matters. It's to know our connection with the source of all that is. And when we operate and give our own creative ideas birth, because the Sacral Chakra is where we give birth to our creative projects. Doesn't matter what creative project it is. It's to give it life, not to kill it before, not to deprive it of energy, not to just check in on where you are in your own life. So just to tell you a little bit more about the Sacral Chakra. So the location is the lower abdomen, it's just below the navel. The central issues there is usually around sexuality, emotions, financial, creativity, and codes of honor and ethics. And it's where our codes of honor and ethics differs with others, so that we then have issues. The color is orange, the note is D, and the tone is O. The sense is touch and taste. The body is the ethereal body. The identity is the emotional body. The level of relationship is 1-on-1. And it's interesting that Crown said the best healings is also a 1-on-1. And many years ago, about 5 years ago, he says, you know what, you best a 1-on-1. And I love my 1-on-1 sessions. But sometimes I wish I could take photos of a person energetically before healing and after healing, because I can see such a big difference and feel it energetically and how their lives change. I wish it could be captured. It's like it's such a magical and wonderful experience to go through. To see, it's like the client that came this week that I did a life activation for. She said, you know, I can never do this and this and this. This is just an impossibility. I can't ask for this. I can't receive this. It's just, and it's because of wounding, father wounding. And again, now having someone in the life where there is support and there is nurturing and there is caring, and it's like so foreign. What do I do with this? He wants to help, but how do I allow him now to help? Because she's never received help. She's never received support. So it's a total foreign concept. Although secretly our inner child yearning for this, but it's like when it comes, then you say
never received it.
Never received it.
It's like,
yeah,
accept it.
Yes. And after the light activation, I connected her, and she saw it, and then she changed the energy. And after the session, I asked, so are you now open to receive it? Oh, yes. You know what? It's like I can give it a hug, I can receive it, I can ask for it. And I don't have that issue about it. So it's awesome when we, when I say step out of our way, and just allow the flow to happen, not fear the rejection that we received it in the past, not fear the other thing. The orientation to self is self-gratification. The goals is pleasure, healthy sexuality and feeling. The right is to feel and to want. The identity is the emotional identity, the level of relationship one-on-one. The demon here is guilt. Yeah, guilt for what we said, not said, done, not done, thought, not thought. So many people are so riddled with guilt, and it stems from childhood. So many people play the guilt programs. Make you feel guilty for either the daughter that you've been or not been, or that you stopped caring, or that you stopped this, or not realizing their own participation in what they're doing to make you stop. But so do you fall for those guilt cards? If someone throws you a guilt card, do you fall for it?
Do you accept it as truth, or
yes,
do you push it
away? And so many times when I sit with people and I say, oh, so I'll drop something, and they say, oh, so sorry.
Yes.
And I say, I dropped it. Why are you saying sorry? No, we must say sorry. It's like, it's so in program that you must be sorry for everything that happens, that goes wrong, because somehow you did it.
Yeah.
You caused of that. And it's a big thing when I'm with people, and they say, but I'm doing something right because I'm saying sorry. And I said, no, please don't say sorry when you're with me. I'm not scolding you. I'm not. I just want you to stop that cycle of saying, oh, I'm so sorry. If it's what I've done, you don't have to say I'm sorry. I dropped it. But it's like the energy is where people become so fearful, and it's like, I must cause all these bad things, so I must just apologize. And I'm not saying don't ever apologize. Apologize when it's your own stuff, but you don't have to apologize for other people. Yeah. You don't have to take on their stuff and think that somehow you must be guilty for that. And it's subtle programs. It's in the subconscious mind, and we don't always realize that. So this week, just catch yourself to see if and when you do say, oh, sorry, or feel guilty for whatever.
Yeah. That's the hard part, is to recognize when you're doing it, because you've been doing it your whole life. It's so natural. You just don't even see it coming at you.
And also, if things go wrong, it's natural to blame yourself. I mean, for me anyway, I blame myself for everything. And blaming oneself, I suppose, is a type of guilt in a way. Yeah.
That's like if your body calls for a piece of chocolate, have a piece of chocolate. Yeah. Whatever you do it just guilt-free. Don't say, oh, now I have to walk 5 kilometers, or now I have to not eat dinner because I've had this. Or
that energy that you take into your system,
yes,
is far more damaging than the chocolate itself.
Yes. It's like somebody once had coffee with me, and they said, oh, no, this milk is going to affect me. And I said, why put that programming, those words, into that? It's going to then do that, but it's like a curse that you put on yourself. It's like, you're going to do this, you're going to have a bad reaction with me, but I'm taking you in because
so nice.
Yeah. But so bad. Exactly, but don't put bad energies on stuff. Don't make it bad. Say, you know what? My body's going, I'm enjoying this. I want this. And my body's going to lovingly accept it. It's like we can change the energy of stuff. Become aware of how you approach stuff, and it's a response to you. Your responsibility is the energy that you send out, because that's the energy that's going to come back. So become aware of the subtle things that happens on a daily basis, from waking up till going to sleep. Make sure that no energy comes from guilt. Or so it's like a lady, she's got 4 children. And when she came to me, I said, you know what? You work so hard, you do so much. You need to take a nap during the day when the kids are all at school, so that you've got the energy. So I can't take a nap. She says she's got a domestic lady that cleans, and what is she going to think if I just sleep? And
I do that as well. As the maid's cleaning, and I'm sitting on my ass reading a book, like, what does she think of this? That's so lazy.
But you create the job, so they're very grateful grateful that you're not doing their job.
Exactly.
Because if you did it all, then they wouldn't have get paid for it. So it's like whenever you do, it's like listen to your body, give your body that, but guilt-free. Because if you do it with guilt, you just as well not do it. Because you're taking the good that should come from it, being relaxed, being recharged, revitalized, so that you can then take action when you expect action. You're taking that away because now you riddled with guilt. So don't.
Also, I often find myself looking back over my life and all the challenges, mostly challenges, unfortunately, but anyway, and without realizing, I'm blaming myself for every single thing that has happened and gone wrong in my life. And then suddenly I'll remember what I'm doing and try to reverse it. But it's really difficult when you're convinced that it's actually your fault, to reverse it. I don't know how to do that, quite frankly.
There is a thing, it's honorable to take responsibility for stuff, okay, but it's again the energy that you do with. So it's to, and that's why it was also talking about transmutation. It's now to transmute the negative into the positive. So although I might have energetically, magnetically attracted this due to my own beliefs, due to my own thought forms, due to the stuff that has happened, I now have changed it, and I've made new choices, and I've made new decisions, and I've made new things, and that's why I have different experiences now. But even if the challenges comes up, and I understand that, it's like when I had an accident and all the candles fell and broke, and it's like, why was this caused? Why did this happen? So we tend to think, okay, so what was wrong? Or how did I create this? Or how did I? And there's a gift, and there's a beautiful thing that can come from it. And for me, it was, I'm going to say, there's a word for it, but I manifest when I know I have certain expenses. I have these expenses. I know I need to manifest this money to pay this. So whatever my expenses is, my income will sort of match that. So sometimes it's like spirit sort of put it high, start off with that, because they know then I will work on everything will be taken care of. So sometimes we are challenged to see, okay, how has that actually helped me? How has it actually benefited me? How has that shifted it? And it's to see it just from a different light. So it's, if there was lessons to learn, say, you know what, today I'm a wiser person. Today I know how to treat people because I know how it feels not being treated well. Today I can appreciate my downtime, guilt-free, because I know how it was having guilt all the time. So it's transmute all those things that you thought that has happened that was your fault. Now just try and see it from a different vantage point.
A lot I've been trying to do, and also it's not easy because it doesn't feel authentic at the moment for me, is trying to forgive myself for the things that I feel in my life that have happened that were my fault. But it doesn't feel authentic. I don't think I'm doing it right somehow.
You see, and that's what came out in that greatest human potential. It says when you truly understand everything, then you realize there's nothing to forgive.
Yeah.
So that is the level that you need to get to. And it is, we're all on a process. It's like sometimes when I say I'm processing, then I think people might be thinking that's all that she does. Which when she's stopping processing. But I've also let that go. It's like people come out, I think if you're stuck in processing, it's like, but it is for us to keep on transmuting and changing. And we can, and it is. So the answer to your thing is what came out today is plugging back into God's source, feeling the love. So with the same love and acceptance that God has for you and all your experiences and all your quirks and all your stuff that you frown upon, you need to now approach yourself with that same energy.
Yeah, because the thing is as well, this word blame. If you're not going to blame yourself for something, it means it's got to be someone else's fault. So you blame someone else. And so there's always blame involved.
Fault is the strong word there, I think. That somebody has to be at fault.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't the fault. Maybe try and see it as not being a fault in the first place.
Yeah.
I think, what I think helps, especially you being a mother, is imagine your child telling you how they blame themselves for this, that, and the next thing in their lives, and how you would make sense of it and make them see how they're not to blame, or that it happened for a reason, and just to try and release it from themselves. Imagine yourself talking to yourself as 5 years old, and how you nurture them through it instead of say, yes, you are at fault. You're full of faults and everything's your fault, and you would never say that to someone you love or care for. So don't say it to yourself.
I wouldn't. No.
No, of course you wouldn't.
But people have said it to me, you see, and that's the thing. And that's why I tend to think. Yeah, exactly. But I still hold that energy of being, it's your fault. It's your fault this happened, it's your fault that happened. Even though I can rationally look at situations, especially in my childhood, where it absolutely can't see how it was my fault, I still feel like it was my fault.
Big problem.
Yeah. Anyway, Fiona, maybe you and I can resolve it next time I see you.
I think that's excellent.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the element here is water. The hormonal gland is the pancreas. The organs are the sexual organs, the large intestine, lower vertebra, pelvis, the kidneys, the appendix, bladder, prostate, hip area, the lymphatic system, and all bodily fluids. When our sacral chakra is excessive, there's a lot of sexual energies, pleasure addictions, excessively sensitive and strong emotions, invasion of others, seductive manipulation, obsessive attachment, emotional dependency. When our sacral chakra is deficient, there's poor social skills, there's fragility, there's fear of sex, there's lack of desire, lack of passion, lack of excitement, the denial of pleasures, fear of change, and rigidity in attitudes. When it's balanced, there's graceful movement, emotional intelligence, ability to experience pleasure, nurture of self, nurture of others, ability to change, and creating healthy boundaries. And also teaching others how to treat you, because we do teach others. If they say, come down on you like a ton of bricks and you just take it and allow it, then they think, oh, okay, I can treat you this way. And then I can make you feel bad. Because I feel bad, so I want somebody to feel worse than I do, because that will make me feel better. It's low ego. So they do that until you say, you know what, I'm not taking it. It's like, remember when I was in the kitchen and I don't know what I said to Nadine, and she looked at me and she turned around and she walked away, and I thought, oh, okay. This is how we should approach stuff. That if we don't like it, you just turn around and walk away. It's not my energy. It's not me. You sit with your stuff, you sort yourself out, and then we'll talk again when you feel better. I guess it's to forgive yourself for believing them, or taking on that energy and believing it about yourself, but now knowing the truth of who you really are. Part of the source energy, part of the creator. Again, it's the stories that we tell ourselves about what was said, change that story.
Yeah.
And I think it's very valuable what Nikki said is like, we tend to fault find or find fault. And it's not always, it's a fault issue.
And even if it was, if you were 20 years old and you did something that you believe truly was your fault and you feel guilt about, you're not that person anymore. You have to let go of that energy. You've moved on from it. You've made your amends in any way you possibly can. It has to move. It has to go away now. It's not part of your current energy.
And what they show me now is, like, we're all role players. We're coming down here on earth for playing a role. It's like being on stage. And you know what? Different acts on stage calls for a different version of you. And it's like sometimes you play the role of a villain, and sometimes you play the role of the nice guy, and sometimes you play the role of people pleasing, and sometimes you play the role of, okay, I'm standing in my power, I'm actually a queen. Can't stomp on me anymore. I'm not a doormat anymore. You can't treat me like this anymore. We play different roles, and it's to whatever roles we played in the past, whatever because it's energetically, others also call for certain things, and we do this dance, but it's not to blame, not to take a screenshot of something and say, oh, once I did that. It's
I must be a bad person for the rest of my life.
It's like, see it, I was that as well. Because we all have been everything, and we all have done everything. None of us have not done certain things. We very much have done everything. It's to say, you know what, I played that role, but look at that role just as a role that you played, because somebody else needed you to do that. That energy was called for. That lesson was called for, and that's how it played out, and that's how the current version of yourself has been developed and formed.
You see, also, I think a lot of the stuff is coming up in dreams as well. I've been having very vivid dreams, which apparently is to do with the period that we're in at the moment. And a lot of them are coming up about in areas in my life where I feel I've failed. So it's coming up in dreams, this feeling of not having achieved, maybe.
We will handle that.
Okay.
We will clear that. Yeah, it's important to take note of our dreams, especially the feelings that they leave us with, because that is what we're processing at the moment. And it's like what I say, last year I was a lot feeling like a failure. Although others didn't perceive me to be failing, the feeling like a failure just was so much because of the standard that we put for ourselves. And we sometimes think that succeeding will be a certain outcome, but sometimes succeeding is everything but that outcome. But we don't see it that way. So, and that's what Nikki tried to say as well. It's like, perceive it how God would perceive it. Look upon yourself how God will look upon you. See it through God's eyes. Because it's a lot less harsher than through our eyes. And just transmute that. And it is like one of the cards, it says like, if you've created something that you didn't like, or didn't want your miscreations. Can any stage you can wipe the board clean again and just start from scratch. It's like not to be attached to that. It's like the accident that happened. I could either look at it and think, oh, okay, I'm starting off at loss. I'm making a loss in my business. I can run the loss program and lack and death and I decided, no, I'm not going to fall for this trick. I'm not going to fall for anything that it's calling for. I'm not going to play victim or let this be me be its bitch. It's like me. I'm going to take control back. I'm going to create the spite of this. I'm not going to allow it to change my energy. And that's what we need to do. But you need to consciously work on it, because it's easy to fall prey for taking the blame, being the victim, and running with it.
I think also maybe, because also even when I have succeeded, and I've obviously succeeded in something, I will downplay it. And well, it was nothing, anyone could have done it. That sort of feeling about it. And I think that comes down to as well what I think other people think about me.
Yeah. And most of the time, you're not right. What other people think about you. Sometimes it's a lot better than what you think. Sometimes they are jealous for all that you've achieved, and yet you don't even feel that you've achieved. So it's like they have envious energies towards who you are, and you think you're just nothing, and you're not nothing.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, let's deal with it.
Good. The physical dysfunctions with a sacral chakra that's not operating as it should. There's sexual dysfunctions. There's gynecological problems. There's dysfunctions of the reproductive organs. There's spleen, urinary. Thank you. System problems. There's loss of appetite for food, for sex, for life, there's chronic low back pain. As I say, it's for lack of financial support, and there's sciatica problems. So when any of those issues comes up, it's usually because the sacral chakra is not operating as it should. The addictions is addiction to alcohol, to sex, and to heroin.
Heroin.
I can't even say that. Because it brings some kind of, we think it brings some kind of pleasure.
Some kind of sensation.
Yet, it's temporarily, it's so short-lived, and we have to create that within ourselves. We have to allow the joy within ourselves to build up, and because the pancreas is all about joy. And so the traumas and abuses that sometimes happen is if there's been anything around sexual or as a child being molested, emotional abuse, neglect, rejection, emotional manipulation, physical abuse, alcoholic families, denial of child's feelings, inherited, untreated incest, or sexual issues. The spiritual challenge here is a negative one-on-one control pattern that needs to be confronted. And that's what we've been speaking of today, Barbara. That negative one-on-one control patterns within ourselves that needs to be confronted. And it is to see it for what it really is and not what we make it to be. Okay, so welcome to today's guided meditation. Today again, we're doing one of the Crystal Oversoul New Earth Attunements and today's one is number 62, Nautilus. I want you just to take in the energy of this beautiful Nautilus card and the number 62. And then closing your eyes, breathing in deeply and exhaling fully. For this brings grounding our light into the new earth, and whatever your manifestations is that you'd like to bring and would like to give birth in this new earth energies, this is where we start grounding our light. We're closing the eyes, breathing in deeply and exhaling fully. With each in-breath, taking in the consciousness and awareness that's available to you now. And with each out-breath, release all that no longer serves you, in order for you to be shining lighter and lighter, brighter and brighter. Just allow the tones of the bells just go in, through and around your body as you just relax. Expand your lower abdomen as you breathe in, and contract your lower abdomen as you breathe out. Allow a natural flow of your breathing. Breathing in down to the sacral chakra, and exhale fully. Releasing and unlocking all the energies that has been blocking the sacral chakra. Feeling in the full essence and presence of the God Source energy to be with us now. Be this open channel of light. As well as grounded within this earth. Although Nautilus is a fossilized ammonite, and therefore not a crystal, it is the less an important part of the series of the Oversoul. It's nonetheless an important part of the series of the Oversoul. The patterning and the mandala conveys shapes into which are encoded powerful activation systems and symbols. We may notice the shapes of this mandala looking like leaves pressed between the pages of a book. The Oversoul wishes to draw our attention to the star right in the middle, as well as the rippling waves that flow out of it. In order to dialogue with the Nautilus Oversoul, we will need to meet with the 8 robed beings. They serve as its meditating force, guiding those who seek its unique attunement further into the Oversoul itself. Their silken robes are an unusual color, honey brown, with a hint of rusted and cinnamon, while the feathers of their large wings are peacock blue. The beings speak. Beloved one, welcome to the first part of your initiation, or your further journey You will need to learn to trust us, to relax in our presence. When ready, step forward into our light field. Breathe and let go to our guidance. We do as directed, experiencing a poignant sensation of how our life force magnifies our consciousness. And the beings speak. Beloved one, you're moving beyond the speed of light now. Through our perception of time, there's only the eternal present. You're experiencing an expanded moment through our awareness. Breathing deeply and enjoying our experience, we feel incredible. And the beings speak. Beloved one, we have arrived at the destination. Adjust yourself by opening up your inner eyes. And take a few deep breaths as you acclimatize. As we do as advised. Before us is an enormous and multicolored mandala laid out on the floor. The beings speak. Beloved one, what you are experiencing is the temple of the Nautilus Oversoul. When ready, walk forward and familiarize yourself with its mandala that serves as the entrance at the exit point for your attunement. Standing at the side, we gaze upon this vision of beauty. The mandala moves quietly, spinning and turning. We feel that we are being drawn into the mandala by its powerful rotational pull, and in the same moment, the scent of woody incense, as if originating from the mandala, catches our awareness. The beings have positioned themselves around the outer perimeter of the mandala. Their peacock blue wings touches each other. They speak. Beloved ones, we are ready. Step into the mandala. Make your way to the middle. Take your time to trust the ground beneath you, or you will be moving across the spinning wheels. The secret is not to focus on the movement, just to put one foot in front of the other, trusting that you will be supported. Put your faith in your magical abilities. And we do as instructed, closing our eyes, focusing on every step we take. Step by step, we walk across the spinning wheel of the mandala, one foot at a time. With our inner eye, we observe the mandala beneath us, and although it moves, we are not worried, and we walk calmly towards the middle. Once in position, we turn around, open our eyes, and take in the new surroundings. The beings, wings raised, seem to have sunk into a deep meditative state. They begin to recite incantations, vaguely familiar, ancient sounds we remember but have not heard for thousands of years. We take a moment to acknowledge the being's commitment to us, their devotion to our enlightenment. We hear the voice of the Nautilus Oversoul. Loved one, welcome. How far you have traveled to be here. My attunement takes place through the guidance I now offer. Guide your awareness beneath your feet, the point of your Earth Star Chakra. Pay attention downwards, facing a figure of 8 made of light. Its lower arc touches your Earth Star Chakra, and the upper arc touches the point just beneath your feet. It is a sacred infinity symbol. I want you now to meditate on this movement of light as it unfolds. This symbol, you will notice a point where the lines cross over. Focus on this point. You will notice that as you do an expansion in your awareness, this point, this overlapping of the infinity, is the chakra that exists to nurture you on the new earth. It further supports your expansion of your unfolding light. You follow and you feel the light move slowly around the infinity symbol beneath your feet. The Oversoul speaks. Beloved one, give permission for this light to dissolve any limiting beliefs, any false beliefs or judgments, especially around emotions, around finances, around any blockages within creativity, and any issues around central issues around codes of honor and ethics. Anything that you may have stored in this place, breathe and into the light, encouraging yourself to release a deep level of your being. Release all these feelings, these belief systems, especially around lack consciousness, poverty consciousness, abundance consciousness, hoarding, any area of your life that needs shifting, especially from the Sacral Chakra, your creative center, any guilt, or guilt about any miscreations from the past, any roles that you've played. Just keep on seeing and visualizing these infinity symbols beneath your feet as you now change that energy. Transmuting all those energies now into light. From feeling lack of being supported to now being in full awareness of how you are supported. Strengthening the support system beneath you. And the symbiotic relationship that you have with your current environment in the current timeline of your life. Becoming aware that you're not only supported as above, but also as below. And just root and ground now any and all creative ideas that are spawned by you into the new earth. And see all those seeds being supported and starting to grow and blossom. You have the right to feel and you have the right to want. What is it that your heart truly desires? Anchor those energies and see it come back in the figure of 8. Transmuting now all false beliefs and judgments that you previously had about yourself and about your creations. And about your ability to create. Transmuting the effects of unhealthy boundaries in the past. And now set within yourself healthy boundaries. Especially healthy boundaries around your creative life. And finding new creative ways of earning a living on this new earth. This process enables you to ground your light deeper into the new earth, allowing to more ease to enter into your life. So you become aware of how you can do things more easily, how you can manifest more easily, how you can work more effectively, easily. Now connecting, strengthening the connection between your crown chakra and your soul star chakra, and become aware of an infinity symbol now between your crown chakra and your soul star chakra. And strengthening that connection now. Focusing on the point where it intersects, crosses one another. Just focus on that point. Now connecting your sacral chakra, your creative center, with your heart chakra. See also infinity symbol between those two chakras, crossing at your solar plexus chakra. Allowing your heart's breathing to be creatively manifested into form on this new earth. And at the center of this, where it crosses, building up your self-worth, self-esteem, self-image, claiming back your power, standing tall, standing strong, standing confident in who you are. Knowing that you are connected as above, so below. Become aware of these three infinity symbols all being activated. I want you now to become aware of activation within the sacral chakra and seeing it pulsating infinity symbols of light outward, like releasing butterflies from the sacral. As infinity symbols of light. Still arising within the Kundalini energies. Sending these infinity symbols of joy now into the root chakra. Infinity symbols of love, light, joy, and harmony within the root. Infinity symbols of love, light, joy, and harmony within the solar plexus. Infinity symbols of love, light, joy, and harmony within the heart chakra. Expanding the heart chakra. Expanding the heart chakra to the size of this oversoul of the Nautilus. Matching its energy. Amplifying your energy. Supporting your energy. Activating the infinity symbols within your throat chakra. With love, light, joy, and harmony. Activating the third eye with these infinity symbols of light. With love, light, joy, and harmony. And activating the crown chakra with these infinity symbols of light. With love, light, joy, and harmony. And it is done. And I'll thank this oversoul of the Nautilus, these beautiful beings of light from on high. And you thank them for this very powerful, beautiful attunement and initiation. You feel such honor and gratitude in your heart. You're now gently working your way back from the center of this mandala out, aware of the spinning motion around your feet. Knowing that motion is taking place within your life and within your creative endeavors. Thank these beautiful beings. You're gently escorted back into your body, back into this now, back into this downline. Now as you come back into your body, you slowly rotate your hands, rotate your feet, stretch and make sure that you're properly back into your body. And just visualize the most beautiful silver, golden bubble of light coming in all around you. And the front of your body, then the back of your body, the left side and the right side of your body, and gently tuck beneath your feet, 2 feet below you. Feel your bubble of light being fully grounded within this earth plane, within the beautiful energies that you are bringing now to this new earth, the new version of yourself. And feel the support of Mother Earth coming back up your grounding board and into your silver golden bubble of light. And when you are ready, you may slowly open your eyes and come back fully. You're back.
Yeah.
So what did you experience in this?
Yeah, I felt I went very deep into, I just went very, very deep into this meditation. And a lot of things started coming up for me, which we will talk about. I need to think about it because it was a lot, and we'll talk about those things. But other than that, it was very peaceful, and I feel so much better now. Thank you.
Good. Good. That's good. Anything you would like to share?
That was some beautiful imagery. Oh, it was just so beautiful. And it started out all focused at you, Barbara. Then at one stage I'm worrying, like, am I going to remember everything I need to tell them? And they eventually just said, calm down, what you remember will be the right thing. So the imagery started with this mandala. I remember in India, outside everybody's front door, they would pour those powders that create those beautiful mandalas. So it started with one of those, but to get it moving, I had to walk around it and kind of unsettle the dust around the outside. And that's where I thought of you, Barbara, is that it was a certain way. And then you moved and you created a whole new image. I mean, the image that is created from that swirling is just as beautiful, but it's different. It has to be different.
Yeah.
And it was that sort of transience of who we are, and we can't be static. We can't be that person that we were at 20 or wherever it was that guilt might have set in. We can't be that person anymore. It has to change.
Yeah.
And then it came to their peacock wings, creating that figure 8, you know, like a sort of like a Mexican wave as it went around them. They created that infinity symbol, and that's what danced through my body. Oh, it was just an amazing visionary. And then as sort of it came to me, we have such creative abilities as we head. And when we're around the right people who are not going to judge us, think we're weird, think we're stupid, we can let that imagery and whatever is created within us just fly. And it can just, it's limitless.
Yes.
Absolutely. But we have to be in the right environment.
Yeah,
We can't be with people who are not
environment is so
in our sort of wavelength.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a beautiful meditation. I wish I could draw what I saw. It was spectacular.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I felt the energies beautifully. So they just had, in the meditation, they just had the infinity symbols at the feet, but then I thought, no, why just leave it there with that? Let's just do it. Let's just amplify this and just see where it takes us. And that's why I thought, okay, we can do infinity symbol there as well. And we need to do with our heart and our sacral chakra as well. And it's like, okay, now why not send infinity symbols to every chakra? And why not send it out to the world and see how infinite possibilities can come to us? Because we need to work with that energy. So energetically, just see how things flow in your life over this week. Just to work with the infinity symbols over this week. And yeah, if you can draw what you saw, that will be awesome. Sometimes
colors don't exist on this planet.
Exactly, I know. It's like sometimes I wish I could just print out or just show the movie that I've seen in my head. It's like
like when you say take a photograph of somebody who's been through healing. There's no technology to capture that. No, it's beautiful.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Lots of love. Bye.
Lots of love. Bye.